The fact that this thing can exist is crazy. For years, cases would only be 4 cents until they were moved to the rare drop pool. It appears that those days are over. With the introduction of the arms deal update August 2013, Counter-Strike Global Offensive had received its first big stepping stone to becoming a gambling paradise. Team Fortress 2 was the test platform for drops in games. There was an average interval of 50 minutes of playtime per drop, and an estimated cap of 10 hours per week until your drops would run out. Every Thursday the timer would reset, and you could farm for those items for another 10 hours. Manco crates are the Team Fortress 2 equivalent to CSGO cases. These cases ran separate from the item drop rate, but you could expect anywhere from 1 to 2 crates a week. That should sound very similar to the people watching this video. CSGO cases used to be easily obtainable. In the early days of CSGO, you were limited to 2 skins and 2 cases per week. 2 cases a week. Do that every week for a year, that's 108 cases. Now 108 4-cent cases really means nothing to those obtaining them, but when you look at the millions of active players, that's a lot of cases. This drop rate was maintained for years. Every new case that would be dropped would start at unreasonably high prices. There would be very few on the market, people rushing to be the first ones to list it. And at the same time, YouTubers were rushing to the market to buy up all these cases so they could be the first ones to make an unboxing video. People also learned that cases were profitable, as they would eventually get moved into the rare drop pool and increase in price. Why not stock some for free? Idle servers existed in the early days of CS. Initially, people hoped to get a nice drop like an M4A1 Nitro that they could then sell and purchase a skin that they desired. Within time, people understood the value of cases as well, making these idle servers even more popular within the community. A bunch of children just like me were trying to get just a little bit of extra change to feed their addictions. I was one of the many little kids introduced to CS from FaZe creators opening cases and hitting massive pots.
Dude, I'm honestly just gonna have I'm gonna get a I got 3 purples in a row.
Godson, that's wonderful.
When I was hopping between teams with my little sniper montages, there was one thing in common. Every team was full of 12 and 15-year-olds. With an influx of children looking for easy ways to make money, and the confusion between typical in-game drops and operation drops, is it really a surprise all my friends did it as well? Then you have the people that actually took it seriously, making a large contribution to the case supply. 30 or more accounts owned by one person obtaining all of their weekly drops. Rinse and repeat. Sure, accounts had to be purchased, but after years and years of running these accounts obtaining more cases and drops every week, the revenue would continue to build. Just looking at the prices of old cases today, imagine how much one of these old farming accounts would be worth. $1,000, $5,000, $10,000? It depends on the drops, especially if any rare drops were obtained, but the constant farming would eventually pay off. More so if you weren't paying the electricity bill. Purchasing a cheap account on a third-party site just to farm drops was more common than people think. But all good things come to an end. "2018 brought one of the most significant updates in CSGO history. Do you remember this look? Yeah, that's boring and dated. How about we do something like this instead? Besides changing almost everything in the menu, there was also an adjustment to the way servers were handled. A message of the day was the method used for integrating ads into servers. Before, every server in existence had VIP options. They used ads to pay for server costs. The new Panorama UI had eliminated the ability to add a message of the day into your server. This eliminated the revenue that these servers were running on. For DM servers that have limited space, or surf servers where VIP can give you special permissions and models. They transition just fine. But why would you buy a VIP on a case farming server when the whole point is to make money, not spend it? Soon after the Panorama update, these servers would start to shut down one by one, killing off one of the largest communities in early CSGO. With how explosive the clutch case has been as an active drop, I believe drop servers would still be populated to this day. It's tricky buying clutch cases as they cost more than you would ever want to spend for something that's still in the active drop pool, and we honestly have no idea when the case will ever be removed. I'd say free clutch cases are something that many people would be interested in, and if you are one of those people, I do have good news. There are some farming servers that still exist to this day. These servers are legit. People know they exist. Why have the case farmers never come back? For those who bought multiple accounts for the purpose of farming drops, they have done a transition to Valve servers after the servers started shutting down. If you have ever tried to play Valve Deathmatch after a new case gets dropped, you know what I'm talking about. Almost an entire server filled with accounts that sit around doing nothing until the game ends. Getting a new case drop can be worth a good $20, depending on how many accounts you run. Getting over $100 the first day of release would be relatively easy, but these accounts don't run year-round like they used to in idle servers. That comes from another change that Valve made. What used to be 2 skins and 2 cases a week has now become more of a free-for-all with graffitis being added to the mix. Valve has also changed the 2 case a week limit to 1 case a week. If you go to Reddit or other forums, you will find people talking about how they have gotten 2 or 3 cases a week, but after talking to some people in the community and making a tweet, it appears that once a week is the new drop rate. Due to the reset being Wednesday, people get a drop early in the week and then later in the week. They think that they got 2 drops, not knowing that the week has already been reset. That's where I believe the confusion comes from. Cases are achieved by chance. There is no rank up or system to guarantee a case drop. This results in some people not even getting a case after playing for hours. And for those that do, that 1 case is all they're getting. It's no secret that CS is just one of those boomer games where you can just hop on matchmaking and you'll find a dad. Those 13 to 15-year-old kids that caught the big skin wave are now getting jobs and working towards a career. They aren't farming cases anymore, they're opening them. Due to my Reddit king, we can see that for the past year, you can expect 20 to 30 million cases unboxed per month. From March 11th, 2021 to the arms deal update back in 2013, an estimated 908 million cases have been unboxed. One thing that kids and content creators really destroyed in the early days of CS were knives. Knives were just a vessel for gambling. People would dump them on random sites, sell them for extremely cheap, and if they won a big pot, they would buy Dragon Lores and Howls instead. During the gambling era, you could find a whole host of knives between $35 to $50 on OP skins. People clearly didn't open more cases back then, as we can see with the total unboxing numbers throughout history, and that cases really never rose above 4 cents in the active drop pool. Knives just weren't valued the same as they are today, which you can see with current prices, even if you adjust for inflation. With the prices top-end knives can fetch today, and the cushion that you have with low-end knives being more expensive, it actually makes more sense to open a case now than when everyone was doing it back in 2016. Not to mention cases that contain gloves, where you have to get quite unlucky to get anything under $100. Money is being pumped into the market, keeping the prices of gloves and knives high. Some of these people are those who farmed cases with me when we were kids. Everyone else, they're just Chinese. Yes, cases are being opened at an insane rate, but what about those buying cases thousands at a time? Profit from cases has been so immense in recent years, I don't know how you can pump money into this game and not have a storage unit or a storage account for cases. Looking at many older cases that remain popular, take your pick, there's tons of them, cases have outperformed in nearly everything on the market. Currently, when people come to me asking about how they should spend their first big deposit, I'll always recommend cases as part of the equation. It's easy. You know there's long-term demand. You know there's short-term demand. And timing the market is possible, but in no way is it necessary. The result? Case investing has gone through the roof. It's just too profitable not to, and as more people subscribe to that thought process, more people purchase, and prices will continue to hit higher highs. Yes, we are entering the summer hype, but this is also a case investing hype, and unless changes are made to the drop system, I don't know why anyone would change what they're doing. It works. I remember Jesus' video about how CSGO is running out of cases, much like the one he just uploaded because I'm slow and he beat me to it. Well, I think we actually are running out of cases at this point. I have a pretty simple solution that may not fix the problem entirely, but it is worth a shot. Basically, Valve needs to fix matchmaking. One of the easiest ways to rank up is through a competitive match. Next, Valve changes the way cases are dropped. We now understand that cases are achieved by luck, and graffitis and skins are achieved when you rank up for the week. What if those were just flipped? Upon rank up, you are guaranteed a case, and graffitis and skins are achieved by luck, depending on how you look at it though, because most of them are garbage. It can solve the massive oversupply of graffitis, and should result in more cases on average per player. For this to work, matchmaking would need some serious adjustments, so while I would consider this the good ending, it's probably the most unlikely.
Every tournament that we'd go to, all of us were just like, hey, 128 tick matchmaking? And they whip out the stats and they're like, well, most people's computers don't even get 64 FPS.
Okay, we can assume Valve will never make meaningful adjustments to matchmaking. How about something basic? Something so basic, it has already been done. 2 case drops a week. This would clearly increase how many cases are dropped, as many people playing the game consistently will start racking up cases. Simple solution, should make a significant impact on the market, and requires nothing other than reverting to the old drop system. As much as the current climate is insane, making it hard to buy newer cases at a respectable price, it's fun making money on cases that aren't even in the rare drop pool. Valve could easily destroy this by removing the limit on how many cases could drop. Maybe cases become a weekly login bonus. Maybe they change the odds of receiving a case after a game. As someone holding a few thousand clutch cases, I don't want to see changes like this anytime soon. Running out of cases is a bad thing. Having cases locked at 4 cents for years, I don't think that's a good thing either. As we stand today, cases are not completely running out yet. Sure, prices are being held above the floor, but as prices increase, the unboxing rates will decrease. It's why something like the Dreams and Nightmares case, despite being fairly expensive months after release, hasn't actually gone up in price outside of the recent hype. But if the trend continues, we will eventually reach that point. While it's great for the market, if prices get high enough that case unboxing rates start to decrease, that's when I expect Valve to step in. Key sales are more valuable than case sales. Valve will ensure that their key sales remain high. And because of that, if this continues, I think there will be changes. For those looking to invest, I would consider waiting until prices calm down. While it may be early for peak summer hype, it has clearly started, and this is the point where people start to get burned buying into the hype. Watch the chaos, sell slowly if you're involved in the chaos, look at the rebels sometime around August, and make a decision from there.